This set is from our Accelerate course. It is the last 100 days practice for CAT. For those interested, the link is in the description. This is a very nice set and a complete one. The questions do not provide any further help. Just think the questions are find the number of shares owned by each individual in each of the firm. Give it all that you have got. The value of these videos are only when you experience the set and then contrast it with the explanation given. Having read in each of the 5 firms, the percentage share of each individual is a distinct positive multiple of 5. What did you make out of it? How did you use it? Qasim owns exactly 5 shares in each of F2, F3, F4. Did it result in just an entry of 5 in the representation, or did you infer something more out of it? And how much more can you make use of this data? You'll be shocked when you see the explanation. But for that shock, you need to try it. So I'm out of the picture. I've already given you 2 big hints of where you should think more. At least now you should give it a try. 5 firms have issued shares of 20, 50, 80, 100, 120. And they are owned by P, Q, R and S. In each of the 5 firms, the percentage share is a distinct, I'm sure you would not have missed that, positive multiple of 5. The percentage share, mind you, right? So this is a percentage. So it's not enough to just think of this much. You know, yes, it could be 5% or 10% or 15% and so on. But what you also need to know is this is a positive multiple. So 0% is not allowed. And this is for each of the 5 firms and each individual. Okay, so for no one can have 0%. And if no one can have 0%, is the maximum that one can own, is it 100%? If one has 100%, the others will have 0, so it's not allowed. Oh, and the others have to have distinct multiple of 5. So the minimum that they need to have, 3 people, will be 5%, 10%, 15%. That adds up to 30%. So the maximum that someone can have is only 70%. And this would have come to your mind if you would have spent time thinking about this. Okay, so no one can have more than 70%, and this is one understanding of this. And then it also says that no one can own a fraction of a share. If no one can own a fraction of a share, I would surely have done 5% of each of these numbers given. 20, 50, 80, 100 and 120. So 5% of 20, 5 into 0.2, 1. 5% of 50 is 2.5. And we know that a fraction of a share is not allowed. So did this come to your mind when you read this? It should have. 5% of this is 8 5s are 44, 5 and 1.2 into 5, 6. The others have no issue. Remember, the number of shares have to be a multiple of these. A multiple. You cannot ignore the small point. So multiples of 4, anywhere where there is 80, it will be 4, 8, 12, 16. Anywhere that it is 120, it will be a multiple of 6. Multiple of 5, I don't think so, you would forget from it. And coming to this 50, specifically this 50, no one can own 5%. So the least that one can own is 10% and multiples of 10%. You know, you might... It's better to start writing, because the moment you write something, you should realize something that should come in your mind, and from your earlier practice, you should know that 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4, the 4 natural number adds up to 10. You would have done some practice set where 10 had to be split up into 4 distinct natural numbers. The only way was 1, 2, 3, 4. Here it is in percentages. Together they add up to 100%. So the only way that 50 shares can be distributed amongst 4 people with these conditions is 5, 10, 15, 20. There's no other way. So armed with so much of headway already made, even before reaching the clues, then the next table becomes very easy to fill in. Or else, I'm again asking you, I hope you have done, there's a lot of good surprises in this set still now. If you haven't done it on your own, it's wrong to say, yes, I would have figured this out. Do it and then see how much details, how easy the set suddenly gets. Glancing at the clues, the number of shares of F1 of Piyush is same as F4 of Piyush. Don't pick in the detail, just the gist of it. Radhika owns some percentage in F4. The number of shares F4 is 5 more than number of shares of F3 that Piyush owns. Kasim owns exactly 5 shares in each. Percentage share in F4 is same, percentage share is same, number of shares Radhika owns same as number of shares Kasim owns, same as Sanya owns more shares, Piyush owns equal number. Quick glance. So we have number of shares owned by the people in the firms. So the representation is very easy, students. You will have firms on one axis, F1, F2, F3, F4 and F5, the 5 firms, and the number of shares and also the percentage. I'll keep a tab of both because some data is about percentage, some data is about numbers, okay, that PQRS have. So yeah, this should not be difficult at all. So let's get going. Careful, read the clues, don't race ahead, try to make the most of them. Number of shares of F1 Piyush owns is same as F4 of Piyush. So if this number is A, this is also A. I don't know anything as of now, but if I know one of them, I know the other. Radhika owns 25% of shares of F4. Radhika F4 percentage, I'll write to the right, 25%. Okay, great. So F4 and the number of shares of F4 that Radhika owns, the same number, is 5 more than number of shares of F3 that Piyush owns. So Piyush is coming 2 times already. Okay, so if this number is 5, this will be 5 less. Radhika owns 5 more. Okay, now if this is all that you have done, you have missed something. Remember, this 25% is given. So you need to go back and see 25% could be of what number. And you would realize that 25% cannot be of 50. Because yeah, 50 has to be only 10, 15. So at least a little bit you can get is that this column is not going to be 50. Because if this column is 50, this will become a fraction 12.5. Okay. Kasim owns exactly 5 shares in F2, F3, F4. Now there's a lot of data here. 5 shares in F2, F3, F4. Okay, we'll come back to this later. But remember this. Now, just as we had a percentage, we thought of the total. Here these are 5. So you should think 3 columns have 5. 5 is a multiple of what? Yeah, it could be this. Yeah, this is a prime suspect. It could be 5, 50. It's a is it a multiple of 4? Is it a multiple of 6? Okay, and here also 5, here also 5. Think a little more. I'm still not giving it to you. In fact, I'll repeat it here again, all over again. All 3 are 5. So 5 out of 20 would mean 1/4, 25%. So 20 could be the total, but then the percentage will be 25%. So 20 cannot be for this column, because then both of them would have the same number of percentage of shares. So this cannot even be 20, but 20 could be here. Okay, could 5 be out of 50? Yes, 5 could be out of 50, 10%. Could 5 be out of 80? 5 out of 80 is 1/16th or 1/16th, right? 6.25%. Now 6.25% is not allowed. So none of this column can be 80. That is what we said, 5 is not a multiple of 4. Is 5 a multiple of 5 itself? Yes. Right? Could any column be 100? Yes. But could a column be 120? No. 1 by 24 is 4.166. Not allowed. So 120 cannot be. So these three columns cannot be 80 or 120. The others will have to be 80 or 120, and the others are only 2 in number. So either the first or the last will be 80 or 120. And if those are 80 or 120, the middle three will be 20, 50 or 100. And hang on, if the middle is this and this cannot be 50 and 20, this has to be 100. See how much information we can get. And if this is 100, 5 out of 100 is 5%. 25% of this is 25. And if you know B, you know this also. And if this is 20 and this is 25, how can this column be 20? So this column has to be 50, and if this column is 50, this has to be 20. Oh, the percentage is 20 out of 50 is 40%. 5 out of 50 is 10%. Oh, this is that 50 column. Oh, so these numbers that are left over here have to be 10 and 15. In some order, 10 and 15. Right? Okay, 5 out of 20 is 25% again. Okay, 25%. Great. So I've got quite a bit filled in. We are here. The percentage share of Qasim in F3. Qasim in F3 is same as that of Sanya in F4. 10% is same as Sanya in F4. So this is also 10%. And we know the total here. Oh, so the sum 25, 30, 40. So this has to be 60%. If this is 60%, this is 60. And if this is 60, this is 60. And more things can keep happening. So I'll pause again and I'll say, yes, the set eventually should feel like very easy, but it is not. It is not. When you view it, it looks easy. When you try it, it's a tough set. So I hope you would have tried it. Even now, there's enough sting left in it for you to try. So pause and try it. I'm continuing. If it is 60, can it be 60 out of 80? 60 out of 80 is 3/4, 75%, and the 75% should strike something. We have already spent a good amount of time talking about what can be the maximum. So it can't be 75%, students. So this one cannot be this. So this has to be 180. So this has to be 80. See how easy. And if this is 50%. Oh, very large value. So I'll think the others have to add up to 50%. 5, 10, 15 is 30%. Oh, there's enough scope. Okay. And when I'm reminded of this 120 and 80, I'm again reminded that everything over here will be a multiple of 4. Everything over here is going to be a multiple of 6. You know, don't take these small things as, useless. This is what makes the set very, very easy and so on. Okay, let's continue. The percentage share of Qasim in F4, 5% is same as Sanya in F5. So this is 5%. The least of this, that is 4 shares. Okay, so the others are going to be more than 4. The number of shares of F5 that Radhika owns, Radhika F5, is same as the number of shares of F1 that Qasim owns, F1 Qasim. So here, whatever this number is C, Qasim F1 will also be C. This is C, this is C. Think, we just said something should come to your mind. Okay, okay. The number of shares of F2 that Radhika owns, is same as the number of shares of F1 that Sanya owns. F2 that Radhika, this number here is same as this number here. So this is same as this. Okay. We are almost at the end, so let's finish that part. Qasim owns more shares in F1 than in F5. So F5 will be a little less than C. Something should strike. This is, yeah, something should strike. Here you can see. Piyush owns an equal number of shares in F2 and F5. F2 and F5 an equal number. So that's what D we have done. So this is E, this is E. We have reached the end. Now the last 2-3 clues here, I did not speak a lot. I just wrote it as it is given. But the inferences is what is important, no students? And the inference is one clear thought that I can see is this is C, this is also C. And this is compared with this. Eventually these two are compared. This is more, this is less. Okay. And E. And E. Now I see that this 20 numbers which are small or large help a lot. Okay. So this column, there's very little scope in this column. So coming to this part, is E here and here, and is E a multiple of 4? So E could be a multiple of 4, but it can't be 4 itself. It has to be more than 4. It can be 8, 12, 16 or so on. But that same number has to come here. Okay. Now you don't need so much of writing. I'm just doing it for this. Now do you think it can be 16 and 5? No, it can't be 16 and 5. Okay, and before you start thinking, that same logic is here. Look at how data is given. Multiple of 4 transferred here. Multiple of 6. Have I used a 6? No, a multiple of 6. 6, 12, 18 and so on will get transferred here. 6, 12, 18. And tell me if this column has to add up to only 20, which 5 is already over here. Could you really have these big numbers? In fact, tell me, could you have 12 also in either places? Okay, let's see. 12 plus 5, 17. 3 is left. There could be 1 and 3. No, though this can't allow a 1. This least count is 6 because of this. Oh, if this has to be least 6 and this has to be least 8, it can't be 12, no? If this is 8, this can't be 12. Because the others will be 0. So even the 12 is not possible. So this is only 8. This is only 6. If this is 6, this is 6, which is 5%, the least count. If this is 8, this is 48 by 20, right? 8 into 5, 40%. And if this is 8, this is 8. 8 over here is 10%. Okay. So that E and that D, at least you got the meaning of those clues, why they are given there. And if you got these things, now if I come here, pay attention. Do I have 8 and 4, 12 done? 12 out of 80 done. 68 left. This 68 has to be divided into some number less than C and C. This is more. Split it equally. 34, 34. This should be more. Multiple of 4. 34, more than 34, multiple of 4, 36, 40, 44 and so on. Not to forget that C is over here also. You could do that same thought here. I'm just extending it a little more. Some thoughts should have come to your mind. This is 60, this is 6, 66 out of 120, left over 54. Okay, and 54, here you don't have more or less, but do you know the C will come over here also? And if it comes over here also, the thought that I was not mentioning is, it is a multiple of 4 and a multiple of 6. C has to be a multiple of 12. So it can't be these, it can only be 48 or 1260 or so on. It has to be a multiple of 12. Okay, it has to be a multiple of 12. And so let's see. So here we see 36. So if I take This has 36. Then the leftover, so one part is 36, from here I borrowed, then the other part will become 36, 46, 56, 80. Okay, it's fair enough. If I take a 48, this will become a 6. Now, can this be a 6? Can there be two 6s? No. And if you take more than that, 60, you can't have more than 60, no? C has to be less than 54. So you can't use a 48, because here if you take this as a 48, this will become a 48 and this will become a 6. So the only thing left is 36. So this is 36. If this is 36, 34 plus 2, this is 34 minus 2, 32. This is 36 and this is 18. Almost all numbers are filled in. What is this? 8 and 5, 13, 19. So this is 5%. The only thing left is this could be 10, 15 or 15, 10. We don't know. Rest all the numbers are there. The percentage I'll only calculate if the questions require me to.